Hi everybody, it's Michael back again from Tribulation Ready Survival. I'm going to do a short video here. It's not a review, but it is something to get your mind thinking about what you're going to eat when you're going to put it in your bag and when it's time to flee or other emergency situations. So there's lots of food options out there, including stuff you can get from the grocery store, canned goods, stuff in plastic bags, Mylar bags, instant potatoes, instant rice, instant all kinds of stuff. But today I'm going to give you another idea. It has a little bit higher price tag, but generally speaking, the shelf life on products like this are between 5 and 30 years. So the option I'm going to talk about right now is freeze-dried food. This was picked up at one of my local camping stores. This one is rice and bean bowl with vegetables. This one actually was in one of my other bug out bags, if you will, and it came open. The seal didn't hold, and so I thought I'd do a review on it, or not a review, but an informational video for you guys. And so, freeze-dried food. At one point in my life, in my marriage, we used to sell, my wife and I used to sell freeze-dried food, different brand, and freeze-dried food is not all the same, but it's very similar. So basically what happens is they take a regular food product, whatever it is, and they put it in a freeze dryer, like the name says, but what it does is it pulls out almost all of the moisture content. And so all the water is pulled out, and the product inside is very rigid usually, and also very dry. So when it comes time to consuming it, you have to put water to it, because if you just eat it like it comes out of the bag, it's going to dehydrate you. You're going to have to be the ones providing the water for it, your body is, and you'll get dehydrated. So with foods like this, the freeze-dried stuff, you have got to be careful how you consume it. So let's just talk about this one here real quick that we've got. We'll show you inside what it looks like when you open it up. I just opened this one up a little bit ago. It had a burst on the side of the top side here. So inside, what you'll generally see is an oxygen absorber in here. Usually get rid of that because nobody likes to eat those. But inside you'll see rice, beans, everything that's on the ingredients list, seasonings, usually pretty much everything you need to, you can even cook in this bag if you want to, with boiled water. You pour it inside here. And so anyway, we'll rehydrate this here in just a few minutes. And let's take a look at freeze-dried food and how this one comes. A lot of them come similar to this. So what you'll see is it says how to prepare it. It says approximately how many calories this has per serving, not total, but per serving. Some other things like protein, and it also, this one happens to be, if you'll see here, it's a vegetarian diet. So we have some vegetarians, and we also eat biblically clean, so that also helps us to not have all that junk inside of our food. And so also on the back it tells you, of course, any other ingredients and things like that that may be in there. And so we were talking about the ingredients back here. It also shows you the manufacturing date, or when it's good until. This one says that it's good until, I'll bring this just a little bit closer here. I don't know if you can pick that up. But it's good until May of 2025. This is probably 3 or 4 years old, and so we're going to eat that here in just a second. So it tells you how much water to put in on the inside. On this one, it's graduated out on the side here with numbers, and it says on the back to fill it to the number 7, which is right there. So what we're going to do, pull out just a little bit here, and we're going to fill it to 7. Now, it doesn't state hot water or cold water. And so what I'm going to use is a little bit in between, a little bit of lukewarm water. So this isn't put the water in, consume it, and eat it right away. So freeze-dried food, you have got to let it sit for a while. This one says 10 to 12 minutes. So I'm going to close this. And we will wait 10 to 12 minutes, probably closer to 10, and we'll see how it comes back. I'm going to shake it up just a little bit to get it all in there. Make sure the seasoning gets moved around. So we will be back in about 10 minutes. For you guys, it's going to be instantaneous. Hang on just a few moments. Okay, everybody, so here's where we're at. We got about 2 or 3 more minutes left on the freeze-dried food here to be consumed. But let's talk about this real quick, a little bit more about freeze-dried food. So freeze-dried food doesn't come in anything you want. There's certain menus that go along with it, and you kind of got to pick what you think you're going to like. Now, we talked earlier just a few minutes ago about eating biblically clean. My family, we choose to do that. And so it's really important for you to be able to look back on the ingredients and make sure that they conform with that. If you don't, you can make a phone call to the company or do what you need to do, move on to something else. But they don't make, to my knowledge, anything that is designed for people like us. So you kind of got to pick and choose. You may not get all of the menu that you want to put or take with you from one company. You got to kind of get around and buying these. You can buy these in large packs, so you can get like 10 or 20 or 15 in a pack. And when you do that, you don't get to choose. So you may have some in there that you can't eat. And I'm going to choose that if I have to consume this in an emergency situation, that I still eat biblically clean. That doesn't change for me. God's law doesn't change, and I'm not going to change my standards either. So that's how I'm going to handle that type of thing, to the best of my ability anyway. So I will tell you, and I'm not going to open this up for you yet because I have eaten these before. I've eaten some other types of survival food, and we'll talk about that too here in a little while. But this food that's going to come out of this packet is not going to look like you would think it would look if you've cooked it on the stove. It's still going to be slightly shriveled or slightly odd shapen. Things like corn don't rehydrate just like they were before. The shape doesn't come back. As well as some of the meats. For example, you can get beef crumbles or other types of meat in these chicken especially. It does rehydrate very well, but it tends to get a little chewy. So understand, this is not a gourmet meal. They may say gourmet or special menu or whatever, but this is food that you're going to eat and you're going to hopefully get some sustenance out of it, but don't be expecting a 5-course meal out of these things. And so we are just about ready to open this up. So let's open this up and take a look and see what's on the inside. Just like I showed you earlier, it looks very similar. You might notice that there's some juice down there. Some of the seasonings have come in. And it's fluffed up just a little bit. I did shake it a couple of times. This bag has a zipper seal here. And so it actually smells pretty good. And I've never eaten this particular menu that I know of. But it has a little zipper lock in here so it doesn't spill as well if it might get knocked over in a campsite or whatever. And so we're going to go ahead and have a bite of this. Let's see what we think. Notice how you'll see the corn never really rehydrated in there. It didn't. It's hydrated, don't get me wrong, but it didn't come back to shape. The rice is kind of puffy, and the beans, the black beans that are in there are still pretty small, but let's give it a shot and see how it comes out. Okay. Couple of things going on in this bag. One, it is spicy. Woo! It's definitely got some kick to it. Probably a little more spice than I would put in here. I'm not sure what it is, but it's hot. So, hang on one second. Okay, so I went ahead and finished that bite. So let's talk about what I think about this. This is not a review. It is kind of an informational about, hey, this is a type of food that I've chosen. Not all of this. I carry other food besides this, but this is the type of food I have chosen to kind of put in my bag. It's very lightweight because of all the moisture. Super lightweight. But again, I wouldn't eat this without putting some water in it, clean water. So overall, if I had to give it a number on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, I'd give it probably a 3 on flavor. It's nothing but the beans, the rice, the corn, and heat. So it's not necessarily something like, as I said, you'd get at the store that'd be awesome and you're just ready to eat it. But if it comes down to it, and this is what I've got, I'm going to eat it, 1. And 2, I'm not going to complain about the lack of seasoning. I can even bring some extras if I want to put it in there. But my main concern here is, like I said here on the front, I'm going to show you. See where it says 300 calories per serving. Let's look on the back and how many servings are in this. Okay. Serving size, 3 ounces, servings per container, 2. So we'll double that, 600 calories in this bag. 600. Okay, so that's the equivalent to roughly 1/3 of your calorie intake every day. Now, that's just for, let's say, a 2,000 calorie diet, okay? You are going to want considerably more calories to go along with this 300 calories or 600 calories. You're going to want more calories than that. So you're going to need more food. Because if you think about it, if you're in a survival situation and you have to walk for a long ways, or you have to climb, or you have to, whatever you have to be doing, cutting wood, cutting tree branches, doing whatever you got to do, you're going to be consuming a lot of calories. You're also going to be consuming a lot of water. And so, these calories are going to be burned up really fast. So, you're going to want more calories. Basically that's what it boils down to. I know I would, because you're going to be feeling really bad when you start bonking out. And that's what I call when you run out of gas. Run out of calories, you run out of energy, whatever the case may be. So, this meal does not fix, is not a fix-all. It's a Band-Aid to a problem that you have of not having a steady amount of food or a grocery store that you can go to. It's an option. It's not necessarily the best option, but it's a better option than some things. And so you have to make a decision for yourself what you're going to do and how you're going to supply food for yourself.